Hello friends, I welcome you again to this channel Dr. Vipul V. Kapoor. Let's learn. Friends, in this channel we are learning English language and English literature. And in this lecture today we are going to discuss the character of the Clerk of Oxford as presented by Geoffrey Chaucer in his famous magnum opus masterpiece, The Canterbury Tales. Geoffrey Chaucer, a poet, lived in England during the 14th century, is considered as the father of English poetry, as the father of English literature, and he is also considered by the scholars, by the critics, as the first great painter of this English literature. In English literature, there are great writers like George Bernard Shaw, like William Shakespeare, like Thomas Hardy. They have drawn and presented beautiful character sketches in their own works. But if you compare Chaucer with all other master writers of English literature, then you may come to the conclusion that no doubt Chaucer was the first extraordinary painter of our English literature. In his Canterbury Tales, Chaucer has presented about 30 characters who belong to different classes of the society, and they all represent different classes. They all come from different society, different parts of the society, and they are presented as the representative characters. If we take the views of Sidney, then Sidney believed that true poetry must have the qualities of a painting. Picture is a mute poetry, and poetry is a speaking picture. In case of Geoffrey Chaucer's poetry, we may undoubtedly say that Chaucer's poetry is indeed a speaking picture, because the pictures come before our eyes when we read his poetry. We can visualize all these 30 pilgrims going to a pilgrimage to Canterbury. Okay, and that is Chaucer's greatness as a poet. As far as his art of characterization is concerned, we as the students of Geoffrey Chaucer must understand that Chaucer develops his characters through presenting their behavior or humors by their physiognomy, by describing their physical appearances, and by presenting them as types sometimes and as individuals sometimes. The Clerk of Oxford is presented as an idealized character. He is presented as a virtuous human being. He is presented as a great philosopher of 14th century. He is presented as a studious student. All good qualities are presented by Chaucer in this character, the Clerk of Oxford. He is one of Chaucer's idealized portraits. The clerk is an ecclesiastical student. Ecclesiastical means religious. He learns the books of religion. He is presented as an ecclesiastical student who is a sincere and a devout student. He does his reading job sincerely and obediently. He loves learning and is respected by all the pilgrims. In fact, this character of the Clerk of Oxford stands out in contrast to so many other characters like the miller, like the wife of Bath, who are presented as like the doctor of physic. All these characters are in contrast to this character, the Clerk of Oxford, because the clerk is presented as a poor human being, as a virtuous man. On the other hand, wife of Bath, Miller, doctor of physics, they all are materialistic characters. They love money making. They are highly extravagant people. Loving men and women, and love for gold, love for materialism. This was their motto. These are the characters. But if you come to this character, the Clerk of Oxford, then he is presented as a virtuous poor fellow. He is a serious student who had long ago devoted himself to the study of logic, and perhaps he is studying for a master's degree as he is presented in this poetry. As far as physical appearance of this clerk is concerned, he is presented as a very thin and hollow and pale looking man. Not only this, the horse that he has, that horse is also very thin and weak. He does not have any benefice and is extremely poor, which is evident from the threadbare short upper coat. Even the clothes that this clerk is wearing, they are threadbare cloth. They are in rags. They are not of good quality, and this shows the poverty of this man, the Clerk of Oxford. The clerk is presented as a studious character, a studious student. He is so serious about his studies that he even appears to be studying on pilgrimage. When he joins this group to go to the Canterbury, he joins as a pilgrimage, but while having this journey, while taking this journey also, he keeps on reading books. And this shows that yes, he is a studious student. He prefers to single-mindedly pursue his insatiable quest for knowledge. He had a thirst for knowledge. He was hungry, he was thirsty to get knowledge from the books. He is more interested in learning rather than mindlessly run after wealth and riches. All other characters like Doctor of Physics, as I told you in the beginning of this lecture, Doctor of Physics, the Miller, the Partner, the Summoner, Wife of Bath, all these characters, they run crazily after wealth, after richness, after money, after materialistic things. But Clerk of Oxford is an exception. He stands in contrast to all other characters. Having spent his money on books and learning rather than on fine clothes, he is a threadbare man. He spends most of his earning on books, not on clothes. Okay, and that's why we may conclude that yes, he is a serious student, he is a sincere and a studious student. He possessed 20 books, and 20 books in those times during 14th century was considered as a good library. So Chaucer has presented him as a studious scholar. Not only this, another good qualities presented in this character by Chaucer makes him a virtuous man. Chaucer describes this clerk as never spoke a word more than was need. Mind you friends, this is not modern English, this is Middle English language, so you might feel uncomfortable with the syntax, with the sentence structure, but this is Middle English language. Okay, Chaucer says that he never spoke a word more than was need, means he spoke only that much which was required. He speaks little, but what he speaks virtuous things. And he is a man of few words and does not speak anything which is not required, which is not necessary. but whatever he does say tends to increase moral virtue in the listeners. Whatever he speaks virtuous things, and that makes him a virtuous man. This scholarly clerk of Oxford religiously prays for the welfare of his friends and benefactors. He is a benevolent man. He always thinks, even he thinks goodness, when he thinks of his fellow man. Chaucer seriously appreciates this clerk's solemnity and openly praises him. This is, in fact, Chaucer's one of favorite characters. The fact that he would gladly learn and gladly teach is an admirable quality in a philosopher. Okay, not only does he learn the things from his books, but he also gladly and willingly teaches some good lessons to his fellow people, to his fellow pilgrims with whom he is traveling. If you compare this character with the character of wife of Bath, then the clerk stands out as a virtuous man. The clerk's tale is an indirect response to the tale of wife of Bath, who stated that women desire complete sovereignty over their husbands and lovers. The story told by the wife of Bath shows that wife of Bath believes that the woman must control the husbands. On the other hand, the clerk puts forward a diametrically opposite view and draws the sketch of a totally submissive woman. So, the clerk of Oxford has a different opinion. In his tale, he presents a woman who is submissive, who submits herself, who surrenders herself to the husband. And this is the contrast between these two characters, the clerk of Oxford and the wife of Bath. On the one hand, the clerk is a poor philosopher, but on the other hand, wife of Bath is an extravagant, materialistic, bold woman. And this is why we see contrast between these two characters. Friends, here we come to the end of this discussion on the character sketch of the clerk of Oxford. In our next lecture, we are going to discuss some more characters from the Canterbury Tales. So please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.